Go ahead, Devin. Tag me in when you're ready, dude. We'll tag team this
dude.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Stupid
let's do
fucking
this.
man.
I don't even agree with Dan. Fuck. Like,
Hey, fuck you, no.
No, you're off.
Don't worry. Hey, there's enough to go around for everybody. Let's do it, boys. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because that wasn't that different.
You're so dumb. I just unmuted and no one even heard your shitty fucking meme.
God damn it.
Your meme was so bad. You should actually be embarrassed.
Fuck you.
So wait,
How
do you
about
want
you unmute fucking faster when you say you're gonna do it?
No.
That's not
just
on
so
me.
I
That's
know,
on
is
you.
everything we just talked about secret memes, or is there anything you?
I mean, I don't really care. Knock yourself out. I don't like the thing that irritates me is that I hate talking about all these things because people are even doing it in chat. Like I just saw people doing it in chat.
What?
Do you watch like a lot of anime or whatever?
No.
Like there are like a lot of people
who do
that
you
like
think I am?
there are a lot of people that really like my mindset in like a very edgy like shonen like superhero like some cringy fucking anime way. And I've talked to a lot of people where I get the impression very quick that they really admire that mindset and they want to be like the super edgelord, but they're not actually, and it's pretty obvious they're just saying it because they like want to be like fucking edgy or some shit. And like there are a lot of people that make the assumption that I'm doing that, and that this has actually been one of the most difficult things I've had to sort through on my stream is that I make a lot of arguments in favor of progressive social policies and whatnot. Like I've probably the most progressive like Twitch streamer in terms of like doing like politics. And there are a lot, and I would always say things like, you know, I'm very self-interested. This is where all of my motivation comes from. And just recently, I had a pretty big schism in my fan base where people were like, I don't even know what came up, but something came up, and people found out, like, wait, holy shit, Destiny doesn't actually give a fuck about anybody else. He only cares about himself. And a lot of people got really fucking upset about this. And
Wait,
like,
did they really?
Yes, like really, like I had like a bunch of people.
But
like,
you've been saying that for fucking years.
but people don't believe me when I say it. Like, and even in chat,
now
like
they
earlier, well, now people are finally starting. But even in chat earlier, there's a lot of people saying, and I even saw in my Minecraft chat, were like, oh no, Destiny just pretends to be this really edgy person, but like he just says all this shit to be edgy. And it's like, okay, like I mean, if you want to think that, that's fine. But like now I have to be more careful in how I present myself because I realize that there are a lot of people like there are people that are just like edgy to be edgy or whatever. But yeah.
Wait, are you sure this is like people and not like a person?
It was
This
a
is
massive fucking thread.
People. There were a
Like,
lot of people that were
Oh,
really
there was a thread?
mad. Oh yeah, there were a lot of people that were really mad about my positions on things. Yep.
Okay, and so they realized that like you basically don't care. You really don't
that
care.
like most of my like philosophy is like
and they're
very
self-centered.
self-interested. Like that's where
Yeah.
all of my moral positions come from, or like or even amoral positions come from like a self-interest point of view. But there's a lot of people that reject that. They're like, oh no, Destiny just says it to be edgy or whatever. But then like I'll have certain conversations with people like, God, why is he so fucking why is he so you know like he doesn't care about anyone but himself? And then people get real mad about this. And I had this huge thing. This is another thing that played into my panic attack recently, where I started to realize like, holy fuck, like how much of my fan base thinks I'm like a totally fucking different person than what I actually am. Because there are a lot of people that think that I have like this genuine goodwill in my heart for all of mankind, and that like intrinsically I am like a loving, warm person, and like this is not true at all. I am very fucking cold, and I'm not lying when I say that most of my positions come from like a position of like rational self-interest. Like I don't give a fuck about black people really in the United. I don't care about minorities. Like I really wholesomely want to see you succeed. It's more so the fact that like the country has a lot of fucking problems when people don't succeed, and things would be better for me if you did. So that's where my position comes from. But people didn't like actually believe me when I said that, I guess.
But I don't know if a lot of people viewed you as like an altruistic dude that was like for the betterment of
They did.
Yeah,
Really?
but like, see, I'm glad because some people say that. Like there are some people that were saying things like, "Well, Destiny said this all the time," but there were a lot of people that didn't believe that at all. That were like, "Destiny is like a huge piece of shit. I can't believe he said this. This is the last straw for me." Destiny said that he doesn't think he's morally opposed to slavery. He's only looking at how society treats it as outcomes. Like, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so all right, I accept all that. So like now you're saying that you're going to change the way that you, or you're thinking about changing the way that you say these things because you're worried about.
The thing that I have to think about now is like, and now this sounds like classic fucking sociopath behavior or whatever, is like, I don't know if I should be as forthcoming about my internal processes, because I think that most of my conclusions tend to be like pretty good. Like, or when I say pretty good, like most of my conclusions are desirable amongst like progressive liberal people in the US. So what do I gain from revealing my inner thought processes other than more people like fucking hating me, when I could just lie about it and go like, oh no, yeah, look, I love humanity, so let's talk about immigration, you know?
Oh, I have an answer for this.
Yeah, and mine's probably going to be a little bit different, but there's virtue and transparency, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but
that is my
but I
answer.
don't
Yeah,
believe in virtue. I
no,
don't care
hang
about
on.
it. I'm
Your
only.
entire-
I am. Oh, go ahead.
Your entire meme is basically that I think like one of the reasons why people respect you a great deal, and one of the reasons why I respect you a great deal, is because you actually take the time to formulate the background of your argument, and you do not just state something. Like what differs you from like the YouTubers you're arguing with is like they'll just say something, right? They'll be like, I watched a YouTube video and now I know that this happens, right? Where you'll be like, okay, I want to go look at the evidence, I want to go look at the theories, and then I want to base off of my own personal experience what is happening on this, and then go forward with it, right? So that mindset is one of the reasons why people respect you. I think what Staub was about to say was that if you lose that, you're losing a sort of aspect of your transparency and your authenticity.
I'm very big on building arguments from the bottom up. This is what I tell people, like, don't just look at like this top, like we need to have a good understanding from as low level as we can. But the thing is that what I realize is that people have this assumption about what my low level thought process is that I guess I don't go explicitly into detail enough as, and it seems like when I get more into detail, it just makes everybody else really uncomfortable. So I don't really gain anything from doing this.
I don't understand.
Okay, so for instance, let's say somebody poses a hard question to me, or well, it's not a hard question for me, but let's say somebody says something to me like this, okay? Destiny, let's say that there were absolutely no negative outcomes that could ever possibly happen in the history of all of mankind if you were to enslave a race of people. Would you be okay for it then? My answer would be yes. If there is no possible way that it could ever have a negative, harmful repercussion to me, then I would say yes, yeah, go for it. And like a lot of people in hearing that kind of an answer are incredibly upset because they always assume that when I argue against things like slavery or immigration, well, Destiny is doing this because at the most fundamental level, he has a moral code where he believes that all men are endowed to certain types of freedoms and certain types of humane treatment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is why I really like Destiny's philosophical conversations, because like I know he's got his arguments thought out from the very core, and I know that like his moral code is something that I very much buy into. But the reality is that my moral code, if anything, I think it's like an amoral hedonist. Like I just want to create a world that's as good for me as possible. I just happen to agree a lot with progressives on how to do that, right? That when immigration, happens from other countries, or when we help other countries and more people succeed, it grows a viewer base for my stream, it grows a larger market for us to sell products to, that in a roundabout way, all of these things end up greatly benefiting me. And that's why I'm generally in favor of them. I'm not arguing from like a warmer appreciation for mankind or something. But when people hear about the deeper things, they get like really upset about it. So it's like, why should I even go into it? Maybe I should just lie and say, oh no, look, I do actually have a really strict moral code and I love all people,
Well, look at it this way. What sort of credibility does it lend to your views when, first you're having this conversation about lying openly or potentially lying openly?
It doesn't matter what conversation I have. I could always swing it to where, like, I went back and forth in emails and blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe people point to this, but they could never truly prove it. They could only inductively reason it, and I would just deny it, and it's whatever.
Okay, you're putting a lot of weight on proof, and I'll go back to the old adage of, the appearance of a conflict of interest is as bad as an actual conflict of interest.
Right. Sure.
It doesn't
well,
matter
that's why
what
that
it
one guy
is,
was
it
fired
only
by
matters what
Mueller,
people
right?
believe.
But sure, but go ahead.
Right, so it only matters what people believe, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of the truth, which is, unfortunate certainly, but.
Wait, was that a question?
No, that was the end.
Oh, okay.
I think
Wait, Steven is literally known for lying. That's why there's a fucking lies emote in chat. What? I don't understand. This is not a new thing.
I think there's a sort of spiritual component to people. Sorry, that's going to be memed. Hang on. I think intuition exists. There we go. Okay. So I think that like people can sort of sense your platform. And if you're lying to and then basing those lies, creating conclusions based on those lies, there'll be a different sense to you than there is now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't believe that people would be able to detect it. I could be wrong.
You think you're good enough to?
Wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I know that I'm right because there are people that even when I've been honest and forthcoming already thought different things about my internal processes. So I mean, like.
Well, this goes back to audience sophistication, right? We can't really assume.
Yeah,
that
but I
these
would
people
assume
are
that
smart.
my political audience is more sophisticated than most on YouTube and Twitch, and I think that's a fair assessment. I've got like a decent number of lawyers and politically sophisticated people to some extent in my audience compared to say like fucking Sargon of Akkad's audience or that Anthony dude's audience. Like I would think that my fan base is like decently sophisticated comparatively speaking.
Mm.
You don't think so? They definitely are.
I mean,
don't
if
get
they're
me wrong.
not, this is the apex. Like, whose is better? Would be my next question.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of like fucking dune bugs and fucking anime lovers out there, but there's a good amount of like sophisticated people in chat.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that my chat is like literally like a collection of like the intellectuals of the future world or some shit. But like, who's got a better like politically minded audience on Twitch or YouTube than me? Like
That fucking reminds me of when we were really high and you told me the dune bug story. That show is so fucking funny. Holy dude.
Yeah, I've got some crazy people making me. Okay, I won't deny that.
Yeah, they gotta they come in for sure. I don't know, like it also is like a 180 from your previous position, right? Like if you're suddenly like just kidding, like I love all humans, like I don't know. It's gonna have like a lot of weird implications. I don't think you're gonna do it, first of all, because I don't think that's the conclusion you're gonna reach.
Wait, you can have your first modus operandi being self-preservation, and second, genuinely wanting everyone else to do okay. It doesn't have to come first.
Kind of, but philosophical hypotheticals get really uncomfortable. That's the only problem, is that the hypotheticals get uncomfortable with people. Because like I said, like in a real world, I'm never in favor of slavery. Because I don't think the outcomes are ever better than non-slavery. So I'm always against it. But people still get really fucking mad to hear me answer hypotheticals that way. Look at the fallout from the vegan gains debate. When he posed the hypothetical, what if there's a group of like nomadic people or whatever, and these people were incapable of respecting the social contract? Like, do you think it would be okay to hunt and kill these people? And like my answer to that is always going to be, yeah, sure, I guess. But I don't think that there's any group of people in reality that are incapable of respecting the rights of other people. But I think the way that I have to answer those hypotheticals leads a lot of people to thinking that I'm like fucking insane or some shit, and it's like I don't know if it's worth it to deal with this.
Wait, the one thing I guess, what is something I've had an issue with you lately is that you sometimes will not say the obvious answer. Like the other day with the abortion debate, like if you're in a room and there's a fucking baby and like some petri dish with one thing, like who would you run out with? You're like, well, I don't know. I mean, technically, like it's a fucking obvious answer. I know what you would do. It's no fucking question. It doesn't matter if there was 1,000 fetus cells. Would you debate it? Would you possibly leave the baby there? No, of course you wouldn't. But like you would never say that in a debate.
I would grab the petri cells if it was like 50 like petri dish things or whatever.
You would leave a fucking baby in.
Yeah, sure, probably.
Wait, what's the debate?
Sorry,
it has to do with like moral consideration for fetuses. If they were like guaranteed vital fetuses that could definitely
I'm
survive.
talking in the real fucking world. You're in an abortion clinic, and for some
I don't.
reason,
I mean, that's like hard. That's like really hard to answer. I mean, I can only give you like the philosophical answer. I can't tell you in the real fucking world because I don't know. Maybe I don't grab anything. Maybe I trip over my shoelaces and shit myself and die with everybody. Like I don't fucking know. Like in the actual like in the real world, you know. Like
this is an issue of what
Slippery
we're really talking
Steve.
about. What we're really,
fuck off.
What we're really talking about here is Steven's like commitment to like moral and ethical absolutism, right?
Well, or consistency is what everybody gets mad at me for. Like, why do you care about being consistent so much, Destiny? Just stop being.
I get mad at you about this shit too.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure, I'm glad you
because
do.
I think like it has like a fucking. I think like it has like a No, fuck it. It's just not practical, my dude. Like, nobody lives life this way. You can't live life as a totally morally consistent human. And you're not, either.
Sure, but
Sounds like because of your
just because you
success
can't
streaming,
necessarily do
arguments
something.
went over morons.
Wait,
no, why
Coupled
even?
with your introverted
because if
personality,
you're not consistent, you lose
have
the ability to
pathologized
criticize
yourself
others.
into
No,
some
you don't.
narcissistic
No, you don't. I
nihilist
hate
God
this thing from you,
complex.
okay? You can be okay admitting a moral inconsistency with something because you understand you're a morally inconsistent being. You can make certain moral sacrifices while working to create a better society at scale. That's possible to do.
How?
You don't because it's not just A and B, dude. You can't just be like you can't just write everything off that somebody says because they're slightly morally inconsistent in one area.
I guess it just makes it hard because it's not fair that you get to pick and choose what you want to be morally inconsistent in. Like, that just seems like such a cop-out. Like, what right do you have to tell somebody they can or cannot do a certain thing that they consider, like, morally justified if you're doing things that you don't even consider morally justified, but your excuse is, oh, well, I'm inconsistent in some areas. Like, how do you have the right to attack anybody's position?
Because of consciousness. In one instance, you're being conscious that you're accepting a moral inconsistency in of yourself.
Yeah, but then they can say the
also an
same.
inconsistent being.
I accept a moral inconsistency, and I'm not going to be swayed out of it. just like you
Wait,
do.
but I think it takes away from your argument when you say this stuff that like it's so hard. Like one's like, who do you save, the baby, or the other one is like, if you wouldn't damage your car, would you run over a cat with no repercussions? You're like, yeah, sure, I wouldn't swerve or do anything. It's just like it takes away, I think, from your argument overall when you say this, and
I
everyone's
agree.
like,
No,
what
no, no,
the
wait.
fuck,
I
dude?
agree with you, Dan. This is why I'm saying I should just fucking lie about it.
No, you should. You don't believe that. You're not.
I do.
lying.
I don't give
No,
a
you
fuck
don't.
about roadkill, Dan. I don't care. My grandma killed like
sweet,
30
cuddly
fucking
cat?
dogs. I don't care, dude. I thought about killing all the fucking animals in my parents' house. They got like 20 cats, dude. I could go in with a fucking AR-15 and with one magazine take care of all their problems in like fucking 30 seconds, dude. And I
You're
wouldn't
gonna
care at
wanna
all,
delete
dude.
the VOD.
I could bury every fucking cat in the backyard and their life would be better off for it. This wouldn't fucking bother me. I wouldn't have nightmares over killing fucking cats. I eat hamburgers and chicken every fucking day. Why the fuck would I give a fuck about some house pets, right?
Wait, that's different. It's different.
It's not
okay.
different. It's
It
not.
is okay.
Go watch
It is.
videos of cuddly fucking cows.
Oh no, but you don't
rolling
have to see
around
that.
and give-
You don't have to see that.
Dan,
That's the
I don't
whole
like.
point.
I don't like these arguments, Dan.
No, these are
There's a case to be
real
made for
arguments.
the personal removal, right? You're not killing the cow. You might be responsible for the cow dying,
No,
but you're not
that's
killing
the same
Yeah.
bullshit arguments Americans give when they support horrible fucking foreign policy, and when it comes to roost, people get real fucking ass pain about it. If you're an American and you're in favor of an interventionist foreign policy, you kind of have to eat shit like 9/11. You don't really get to fucking cry about it. I don't accept that. I don't agree in a world where people cannot acknowledge the consequences of their actions because they're removed from the direct effect of it.
Wait, I don't accept that if you eat meat, essentially you have to be okay with killing cats and not feeling anything for it. I think there's
I agree.
differences.
With that
Why?
part of what Dan said. I mean,
What do you mean? Because you think too logically. You don't have to go to that
Yes.
fucking level. There's other stuff. Like
But
the
then
whole
this
thing with the-
leads to really fucked up shit. If I walked down the street and I saw that there were kids who worked in a factory that had nets set up, and if they jumped out of the factory to kill themselves, the nets prevent them from doing that. If that makes me really uncomfortable, I shouldn't be able to just export that to China and not think about it.
I'm tilted. This leads that to more bad shit. You're the one talking about unloading a fucking clip of AR-15 ammo into a bunch of cats, and you're telling me that our philosophy leads to bad shit? Are you fucking real right now, dog?
Wait, no! But that's the difference. I'm honest and you're not. You're the one saying like, well, I like
I'm
some. This
honest
is why
about not being honest.
This is why I said most people should be vegan. Because me walking into a room and putting a Glock to the back of the neck of every little fucking kitty in that room, pulling the trigger and watching it fucking scatter across the floor and twitch a little bit as its fucking brain dies or whatever, that makes you uncomfortable. But you're okay supporting the wholesale enslavement, torture,
Yes.
genetic modification, and slaughter, or the perpetual impregnation of animals for dairy products. This is okay with you, but watching it happen personally isn't? That's totally
Yeah, because-
fucked.
That's
no,
Dan's
it's not.
argument. That's
That's
not my argument.
life.
That's
Being
totally
morally-
fucked. You
Dan's
guys should be
argument's fucking
vegans.
dumb.
All of you guys should be vegan. I'm
No,
incredibly
it's
disappointed that you're
wrong.
not vegan. You should
You know
be
why?
vegans.
I'll explain to you right fucking now. It's bullshit, okay? You're putting, like, it's okay to be morally inconsistent because that's the fucking lives we have. The whole thing with vegan gains, do you think that guy, whenever he buys a shirt, he makes sure that it was bought, like, in a fucking no sweatshop thing? Like, for
Maybe not.
everything in his
Maybe
life?
he doesn't feel that
So,
way
yeah,
necessarily
so
for
are
sweatshops.
fucking
But when
cow
vegans,
lives?
no, but when vegans buy shit, yeah, they try to make sure I don't wear leather shit because I don't want a cow being murdered for my fucking clothes. I try to source my shit as ethically as possible because vegans are concerned with the suffering of all sentient life. So yeah, vegans do make that effort to not partake in products that lead to the destruction or the enslavement or the torture of animals.
Animal lives are way fucking below human lives, and I
Wait.
guarantee you that a lot of the
But
things
you don't
even
agree
vegan
with that.
gains does-
Most people don't agree with that because when people see like bullfighting and they watch the bull kill the like matador or whatever the fucking Spanish dude is called, people clap for that shit. Or when hunters break into a preservation to hunt lions and the lions kill the hunters, people clap for that shit. They love that shit. They love it when the animal wins there. And then they go home and they eat a giant fucking cheeseburger.
So hold on, Destiny. I think there's a big flaw in just your moral system in general that I don't know if has really been addressed before. In particular, you seem to not look at the context of an issue. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that seems to be the case.
Don't careful where you go with this because I know the vegan arguments a million times out. If you're gonna give me some dumb
no, I'm
shit,
not
if
doing
you're about
the
to give me
vegan
some
argument.
dumb shit about how like, well, eating meat is a necessity to live, but having a pet or
No,
whatever.
no, 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 no,
No, he's not even saying
Okay,
that.
all right,
He's
go for it.
criticizing
Hit
your
me up.
entire moral
Go for
system.
it. Go for it. Hit me up, Stall.
So look, and again, this isn't my area of expertise, so you'll have to bear with me. But
Okay.
the basis of my moral system relies on, context. To take it for example, it's mainly based around, and again, this is mainly based around the use of force or violence. But whenever you're considering whether an instance of violence was justified, you have to consider the relationship between the perpetrator and the victim, right? Because there could be factors there that complicate things. For example, in the case of someone who is a victim of domestic abuse, are they justified in killing their abuser?
Of course.
If you look at that situation without context, is it justified for person A to kill person B?
No, but nothing you're saying would contradict anything that I've said in my moral system. I hope your objection is better than this. Because of course I make exceptions for instance, if an animal is about to murder you or your child, of course you can kill that animal and it would be justified or acceptable, obviously.
Right, we can remove levels of force from this, right? It doesn't necessarily have to come down to death. It could come down to injury. It could come down to something as minor as... Fuck, what's minor? I don't know, like a little bit of emotional
Tag me in. I'm so ready.
Go in, Devin.
Wait, no, you didn't even finish your fucking point!
I don't have a point, dude. Don't worry about it.
I got points for days. Fuck Steve. I'll come at you hard. Go ahead, Devin. Tag me in when you're ready, dude. We'll tag team this motherfucker.
Yeah,
Stupid
let's do
fucking
this. I
manlet.
don't even agree with Dan. Fuck. Like,
Hey, fuck you, no!
No, you're off.
Don't worry, hey, there's enough to go around for everybody. Let's do it, boys. Go ahead.
Okay, dude, I'm so ready. Like, where I'm at is I don't agree with Dan on I'm not making the same argument as Dan. Let me make that really clear. My problem with you is that you believe your morality it has to be objective, and that you're this morally consistent creature, but morality is a subjective matter of scale in practical real life. In real life, what Dan was saying is true around how, like, not all vegans are perfectly, like...
Wait. Okay, wait. I want to practice a thing, okay, for this debate, okay? So,
yeah.
So far, okay, I don't think I disagreed with anything you just said. Okay,
so here's the problem, though.
With your
well, no, because you just like laid out like 15 claims, and I don't think so. Morality is subjective. I agree
Sir,
with that.
I think I make my point.
Shut the fuck up.
Sir,
just because something is subjective doesn't mean it can't be inconsistent. These are not mutually exclusive. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but what my problem with you is that you are all in or you're all out. So it's like if I consciously acknowledge, this is the difference between me and Dan, right? I consciously acknowledge that I'm created a moral inconsistency. That does not eliminate me from the discussion.
It makes it so that it's impossible for you to criticize certain moral positions held by other people. Let's do it. Listen. Yes. Okay, let me ask you this. Is it morally reprehensible to kill an innocent puppy, to torture and kill a puppy? Would you say that's a morally wrong act?
Yes.
No, I'm not asking Devin.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know where you're going.
It's not a trick question. I'm just asking you. If somebody was like, I really want to torture this dog, do you think that makes me a bad person? What would you answer?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, so you would say yes. Okay, shut the fuck up. Yeah. He's trying not to walk into a trap or whatever, but it's not. Yeah, you already did it. You're already there, boy. Now let's okay, now let's have a debate, okay? Are you ready? We're going to debate. Yeah, I want to be able to walk around, and I want to be able to torture people, kill them, and then eat them, okay? So I walk into my backyard, and a neighborhood kid has walked in my backyard. I get my fucking machetes out, and I'm about to go back and kill him, and you say, wait, Steven, we need to have a philosophical debate before you do this, and I'm going to justify my position on why you shouldn't kill that kid, okay? So that's where we're at. I turn around in the doorway, okay? I've got my whetstone, I'm sharpening my machete, and I go, okay, Devin, you say that I shouldn't kill this kid.
Here we go. I can be
and I say, I just want to kill him because I recognize I'm being inconsistent here. Maybe it's not the best thing.
Stephen Bonnell rape kids argument.
It's not raping. Wow. I'm just murdering and eating them. It's a totally different thing. But I'm just saying, I just want to be inconsistent in this area, just like you are when you eat animals. How can you say I'm wrong, but you're right to do so?
Because of scale. Because there's a difference between these things.
What's the difference?
That's the thing. The difference is that one instance you're raping a kid, and in one instance I'm eating a hamburger.
I'm not raping anybody. I'm just cutting them up and eating them. But I'm saying that when you've acknowledged, when you said, well, I understand I'm being morally inconsistent, but, it's not that bad here. Well, fine. I'm going to say the same when I go to cannibalize this fucking 6-year-old that came into my goddamn backyard.
Your very position is what's causing your dissonance with this. You can't, it's not the same moral level. There are different levels of morality.
Okay, so would you argue then that it's okay to be inconsistent on smaller levels, but you have to be consistent on larger levels?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that.
So then if I just want to kill a little puppy dog or whatever, why does that make me a bad person?
Because the puppies are cute little animals that society has accepted.
You're killing a thing that has some degree of sentience and like
But so do the cows and the pigs.
No, fuck cows and pigs. Listen. All right, look. It's all about personal benefit, right? You live your life for personal benefit.
That's
It's too much
what
in
I
between
believe.
there.
That's morally what I believe, and that's
Okay,
why I like eating animals.
So that's okay. Okay, so yeah, that's okay,
Okay.
to not be vegan, and you can be okay not being a vegan because personal benefit. It's fucking hard and annoying not to eat fucking animals.
Sure.
Right? You go to
That's
a
my
restaurant,
point.
you
Yep.
want a cheeseburger.
Hell yeah.
That's okay.
Go to the
And you
SLS,
like
get a
having
big ass fucking steak. You better
yeah,
believe it.
that's good.
Hell
That's
yeah.
good. It doesn't
Yep.
inconvenience you.
Yep.
Also, doesn't inconvenience you if you want to buy a new pair of sneakers. You don't need to give a shit if some fucking Chinese kids were fucking tortured to make these. Not your fucking problem. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you got that, and then the next thing, really, when you think about this, is that you live your life to this code. That it's about your personal benefit without going too much to the level. So it's okay because you like cats and cats are like soft and cute and you enjoy them, not to want to see them killed. And it's also okay that you don't fucking know what goes on in farms. You're willfully oblivious. You know it's probably fucked up, but you don't want to know. But that's how fucking people live. But it's not to the same scale, and it's okay to be inconsistent on the fact that people eat fucking cheeseburgers, and that's, kind of fucked. But if you fucking torture a cat, holy fucking shit, we're gonna get the internet after you. You fucking killed a lion in the wild, I'm going to ruin your career. Like, that's kind of what happens. It's different scales because of public association.
Okay,
and you
listen.
Yeah.
Everything you just said, I 100% agree. That's
Good.
my moral system.
Oh, perfect. We have the same one then.
But the
Fuck
thing
yeah.
is that
except cute one.
most people will not say that. Most people won't say that they are like amoral hedonists that only operate in their own preferences. They will appeal to objective moral rights or wrongs. But as soon as they start to do that, it becomes a bullshit game because they don't believe in their own morals because they're incredibly inconsistent when they apply them. What you just said is everything that I believe 100%.
Wait, but we're different. We're different though, because that's my beliefs. But I like fluffy kitty cats, and I wouldn't fucking hit one with
but
my
that's
car.
fucking fine.
And you would.
And it depends. I wouldn't want to fuck my car up. Like I don't want to like.
Is that really it? A little cat with like big
Dude,
eyes
when those
looking at
things
you?
explode, when you run over them, that shit
I
gets
don't wanna
all
hear
over
this.
your fucking shit. The bones get in between your tire treads, and you could pop a fucking shit and fuck your wheels up. Yeah, of course. Fuck.
No, dude, because they're cute, and it's okay to not want to hit them
Sure.
because they're cute, and
Listen,
you recognize them.
And I don't disagree with, in some ways I don't disagree with what you're saying there, but the thing is that when most people, and you can either choose to acknowledge this or not, but when most people make this argument, they're usually appealing to a broader sense of morality that they feel most people should share. They're not saying things like, you shouldn't torture bulls in Spanish bullfighting rings because I just don't like it. They say that this should be seen as a moral wrong. The torture of a poor animal in this case is abhorrent, and you should definitely reject this type of activity. It is immoral, and you're a lesser person because of it. They're appealing to some broader, almost, I don't want to say objective, but they're appealing to some broader sense of morality that people should share, rather than just saying, what I believe would be more honest, is like, I don't really like this thing, don't do it.
I think those arguments are shit. I mean, as far as vegans
so
go,
like
and
we
you
might
can
be
find-
like we might be similar in those cases, Dan, but I don't like arguing with people that are inconsistent in their moral platforms.
Yeah,
because
that's what I want to fight.
No, we have to go back. You wouldn't kill a cat, would you? I need to know this. If your car was 100% guaranteed not to be fucked, you wouldn't hurt a kitty cat, would you? You wouldn't do it. This is a
evil,
meme.
but that doesn't
No,
matter.
it can't be.
in general,
it's a meme.
in
It's a
general,
meme.
if I have like nothing to fucking lose or whatever, I'll probably err on the side of not killing shit because it doesn't generally give me pleasure to do so. So I like. If I'm like driving and I see like a cat in the road and I can like move a little bit and not kill it, I would probably err on that side. Sure, I think. Yeah. But I don't think I have but the difference is I don't think I have a moral obligation to do so, which is what some people say.
No moral obligation.
But sure.
It's just you think cats and dogs are cute, and that's it. And in the same
Yeah,
part,
sure.
you're not going out of your way to save cows. Fuck them. They taste delicious.
Sure,
And they're easy.
but in a
that's
different
fine.
way, if I could increase the happiness of a human by murdering an animal, like killing every single animal my parents own, if I thought I could get away with that, I'd probably do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay,
I
sure.
100% agree. So yeah, I think it's just good to be consistent. Like those things throw people off. Like when you said that before, like I'd have no problem running over a cat and it wouldn't do
Holy
it. It just
shit.
it
People are
depersonalizes
fucking
you.
crazy.
Well, that's because I think that, yeah. I just get uncomfortable. Okay, sorry. Wait. Okay, I think, Harkdan, I'm pretty sure we agree like 95% of the way, I think.
Yeah, like it's okay to not want to hurt a soft, cuddly animal that society says is cute,
Of
and
course, I
also
don't disagree.
be okay.
I don't
Good.
disagree
All
with
right, then
that.
we're there.
But you can't pretend that you have some very strict moral code that protects animals if you fucking eat them. That's so.
No,
If I kill a cat and you don't like that, the most you're allowed to say to me, if you're a meat eater, if you're a carnivore, the most you're allowed to say to me is, Destiny, you shouldn't kill cats because I don't like it. I don't like that when you do that. That's what you can say to me. You cannot say, Destiny, you're a bad, evil person, because
I can and I will.
Evil.
I can and I will.
Oh,
You
okay.
fucking try
Well,
it.
by what moral standards are you declaring me
Cats
evil?
are fucking cute. And they're
So
built
are
into our
cows,
society.
and so are
No,
pigs.
they're not.
Yes,
no,
they
they're
are.
not. They're delicious.
What?
I don't see them. I don't know about
Really?
cows. They're not cute.
Hold on, I
Yeah,
got a
fuck
lot of
cows.
videos for you. Cows
No.
Go Moo Baby Edition, cutest compilation. Where is
I
Harkdan?
don't give a fuck.
Here he is. Bam! View this
I'm
shit.
not watching this.
Look at these cows running around. Look at how happy they are.
Yeah, but I choose not to see this. I choose to be willfully ignorant of these cute cows and just see them as fucking.
But if you want to appeal to
cheeseburgers.
moral standards, I can start making these descriptive claims about people, and then go to make normative claims about them. If I want to have a room full of people that I lock up and just torture them for fun, as long as I'm not seeing it, it's okay. I just like to hear the screams at night. As long as I don't actually see it, it's fine. You wouldn't let somebody make this argument.
I would. Well,
Okay.
not on the people element. I mean, there's a very big society views cats and dogs, not fucking potbelly pigs. Fuck them. Fuck ferrets too. But like,
Hold on. What the fuck
cats
did
and
you just say
dogs
about ferrets?
as being very cute, right? And that's okay that I can be fucking ruin someone's life. Like that Kenny Glenn kid, when he fucking like hit Dusty the cat. I can ruin that kid's life because he fucking crossed the line. But dudes who fucking slaughter cows all day, fuck them. Get him out of here. I don't even give a shit. I'll eat that cow too.
Look,
Good
are
job.
you watching
Keep it
my
up,
stream right
farmer.
now? I've got a really funny Minecraft thing
Nope.
going on. It's hilarious right now.
I'm not watching that cow.
Look at this Minecraft stream right now. I'm actually look. I just built the coolest castle ever. Look at how cool
I
it
don't
is.
play Minecraft. You're supposed to get me with Rust, not with fucking
Hey, check out this
Minecraft.
base we're gonna run. Look, I've got 5,000 boxes full of sulfur.
Wow.
Destiny, do you apply any, or do you consider motive at all when you make these arguments?
I consider motive insofar as you can plug it into consequences. So,
Could
for
you expand
instance,
on that?
yeah, somebody's walking down the street, they see a person and they kill that person for fun. That motive is probably going to lead to bad outcomes later in life that involve me. If people are walking around killing people for fun, if somebody's walking down the street, they see somebody about to kill another person and they kill that person to save another person, then that motive can be used to generate positive consequences later in society. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't actually take a fucking petri dish and leave a baby behind.
Dude.
No, well, like you
Forget a
have to
baby.
add.
What about a 3-year-old?
You
What
have
about
to
a 3-year-old?
add a lot of qualifiers to this in order to make it work. Like, I would, like, hold on one second.
Destiny,
Tip,
do
coming
you
through.
think that vegans care about all the animals killed when the combine harvester comes by to harvest all of the soy?
Yes, they do. Okay, wait. Fuck, what did you just ask me, Dan?
You wouldn't leave
Oh,
a little cute
so
3-year-old.
in general, no, I wouldn't, because the kid is a guaranteed life, and I don't know about the fetus. But like, if you start adding a bunch of impossible qualifiers, well, let's say that there's a 100% chance that the fetus will be implanted and will grow into a person or some shit. Then in that case, it becomes a harder choice to make. I think it's like a coin flip or whatever. I might just take the kid because he's cute, or if the kid is like gonna grow up to be a gamer bro, maybe I leave him. I don't know.
I guess I'm not sure that I can really. I hear you say this. I understand the logic to it, but I feel that it's a show for chat. I think there's
Yes, and I
zero
know, and
chance-
that's why I don't like answering these hypotheticals, because people make these accusations that I'm just being
don't-
edgy. This is exactly what I said I had to deal with in the past.
You're an edgelord. You'd say that 3-year-old. It's okay. Be honest with us. We'll respect you more. That 3-year-old is cute. He's saying, Steven, don't leave me. Don't take that vial.
Have you considered just not engaging with hypotheticals?
No, because hypotheticals are really important to test your philosophical assertions. I think hypotheticals
Let me
are important.
rephrase. Have you considered only engaging with reasonable hypotheticals?
Yeah, it's called lying about your intent. That's what I'm. That was what I don't remember if we muted or not. No, I don't think we were, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole thing's like, maybe I should just be less forthcoming about my internal thought processes, so I don't engage with certain hypotheticals, where I rephrase them to make them more palatable to people that wouldn't agree to my.
No,
internal.
I think we're sort of talking past here a little bit. I'm
Nope.
not saying that you have to.
You're
you know,
saying that if there is a
lie when
hypothetical
someone
that
poses a
very
certain
clearly
hypothetical. I'm
makes me
saying that-
sound like a fucking crazy person, that I should find a way to avoid answering that hypothetical honestly. That's essentially what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that you should have. Well, in a way, yes, but I'm saying essentially you should just say, I don't think that's a fair hypothetical. Could you find another one?
But they're eventually going to dole out. Well, if they're not an idiot, they're going to get to the root of like.
Okay. your issue
You
is
have got to stop
all right,
using
that,
like, can kill
supernaturals in
cats.
your
But anyways,
no,
hypotheticals.
Dad. Like,
Sorry.
I swear to God, dude, I don't even fucking agree with a word you say, and you always interrupt me. All right? Okay, I think that like moral and ethical stuff exists so that we can have practical axioms to live everyday life from in harmony with society. Okay? And what you're saying
Would you leave Nathan to
is
burn
not
if you
how
could
people
save 50
are.
Petri
I
dishes?
agree.
and
You
that's
are
always
guaranteed
been my problem. Is that your
survive.
discussion and your moral system is so abstract that when I concern myself with impact, what you're broadcasting to this fucking poor audience that now thinks it's okay to lock in an AR-15 clip and take out a bunch of cats is completely outside of any kind of reality of how people actually fucking live. And like subtracting emotion and all of this shit from it is not tenable to reality and is creating a fucking void of sociopaths out of your fucking community.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
You're like the Donald.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. All I'm saying is that I just want people to be honest. So people, all types of philosophy, okay, in my opinion, we're getting real tippy, are in more or less a similar view of mine. People do what they want to do. If you believe in a certain philosophy, it's because you've chosen it. Now, maybe you think you have some like rigid defined moral code where you would be selfless and you would sacrifice yourself for another, but that's only because you choose it. I don't choose it. And I have just as much a reason to choose my selfishness as you do to choose your selflessness. Both of these are equally justifiable in that they have no justification. I am honest.
That may be true, but you have an obligation as a community leader to not be a fucking crazy person and convince everyone else of this.
Okay, whoa, and to some extent, I agree. That's why I'm saying I should lie about my internal processes.
Yeah, you should.
No, you should stop trying to kill cats.
There we go. Then that's
Fix the fucking problem, all right? So you don't have to lie about it.
Well, then there we go. Then Devin is on board with you should not be forthcoming with your internal thought process.
If this is how you're gonna be, absolutely, dude. I think you should. You should like definitely broadcast the more altruistic views so that people don't get influenced to fucking blow up fucking hospitals and shit.
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
Sure. I would argue that in my pragmatic sense, I would never blow up a hospital if for no other reason because I could never fucking get away with it and it would ruin my fucking life.
That's no reason not to do it.
That's the best reason not to do it because I'm the most concerned.
You don't blow up a hospital because it's a bad thing to do.
Wait, why is it bad?
What is your reason to blow up a hospital?
Did you just ask why is it bad?
Yes, I'm asking why. No. Here we go. In one simple line of questioning, I can show you the conundrum of your position, Devin. Why is it bad to blow up a hospital?
Yeah, Devin. Why is it bad? I don't know either. Tell me.
Are you fucking serious?
No,
Answer the
I'm
goddamn
mystified.
question. Why is
Tell
it
me.
bad to blow up a hospital?
It's a mystery.
It's bad to blow up a hospital because I shouldn't have to answer why it is.
Oh,
That's
this
a
is
shit
the
answer,
moral
Devin.
dumbfounding. Here it is.
No.
Why is it bad to blow up a hospital?
What?
Answer the goddamn question. Why is it bad to blow up the hospital, Devin?
I can answer. I got you, Devin.
No! No,
why is it bad to blow up the spaghetti monster?
Devin, Devin has to answer. Dan, you can't answer for him because he doesn't agree with you. Why is it bad to blow up the hospital?
I can't even handle you right now. But
I
give you an answer
it's a very look. But this is the problem. Do you see the problem? You're appealing to common sense because at the end of the day, your belief is unjustified, just like mine is. We're the same, Devin. Do you see?
No,
we
we're not
are.
the same.
Then tell me why should you not blow up a hospital?
You are not my father.
Just tell me
You're
why you
evil.
shouldn't blow up a hospital,
You're
Devin.
objectively evil.
If you cannot answer this question, I must operate
Okay.
under the assumption that you think it is okay to blow up a hospital.
Okay, fine. I'll answer it. Holy shit. Okay. All right. Look.
Dodgy
Okay?
Devin. At it again.
Fuck off. We as a human. Don't pull your Trump memes at me, dude. All right. We as human beings are a gregarious species, right? And we have a obligation to one another and the universe at large to do better.
Where does that obligation come from?
It comes from
The
the
Bible.
very virtue of existing and evolution itself.
Where? How do you find that? What do you mean by that?
You can't find it. You just kind of have to know it, I think.
Okay, well, I'm a guy. Oh, I'm going to go to my favorite one, the child raping. I'm a guy that intuitively wants to rape kids, Devin.
Stop
and
it.
that's
No,
the virtue of the
no,
universe.
stop.
Hold on.
Devin,
GTA 5.
Devin.
GTA
Your
5.
brand. Think of your brand, man.
Devin, tell me
brand.
why my internal view of the universe is any less right than your internal view of the universe, Devin.
Because mine is intuitively right.
Maybe. What about a guy with a psychosis? What about people what about slave owners? They felt that black people were intuitively less than white people. How are they wrong?
It's not the same. If you go to the vast majority of humanity and go, hey man, would you rape? Do you think there's anything wrong with?
Let's do slaveries in the 1700s. Let's do slaveries in the 1700s. Okay, most people would agree that slavery was right. So on what basis is your appeal to the fucking universe correct?
Because we evolved, we became greater and realized that wasn't the case.
What do you mean? You're making the argument for
We're
moral
better than we were
relativism.
then.
Okay, so what about on trans? Like you're making it sound like we're headed towards some objective moral truth. Oh, here comes the postmodernism. We're absolutely not. Morals have changed and revolved in crazy parts of society. In some instances, we were much better in gay rights, 2,000 years ago than we were, 50 years ago. This idea that we're headed towards one direction, one objective moral thing, is not necessarily true at all.
That's completely possible. Overall, like we've been improving in all kinds of areas. Like that's why all kinds of violent crime and all kinds of things are down. Like that's
in some ways, but in ways in how we treat, say, like you keep saying objectively, but what you're doing, and you don't realize it, but what you're doing is you have an internal moral code that is unjustified, and you are using you're using like descriptive metrics to try to point to the fact that we're getting better as a society. But the thing is, I could put you in a room with somebody that listens to Jordan Peterson all day, and he will say, no. Society is becoming objectively worse. The family unit is decaying. Moral degeneracy is rampant. More people are having, sex outside of marriage, and these are indicators of a failing society. So on what grounds do you tell that person your morality is wrong and my morality is right?
Well, you take the data from both instances and you try to figure it out.
What data, though, can point to whether? Let's say, what data can I point to? You have your
data points and I have my data points. Like maybe my data points are violent crime.
No. Okay, let's say that my data points. Let's say that my data points are if you have sex outside of marriage, that's immoral, right? So how can your data points ever sway me from that opinion?
Hold on, how the fuck is that a data point?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a normative claim. A descriptive claim can't change a normative claim. My normative claim is that sex outside of marriage is wrong. I don't care if you show me that there might be less violence or some shit.
I feel like you're always trying to tornado me into this like weird fucking trap where if I stay, we're always gonna go back to like where
I'm not trying to trap you.
Faith-based claims on why you are though.
No, Devin, listen. The problem is that people think this in real life, Devin. Here's something that I can tell you.
People don't live by moral codes in real life, dude.
In real life, conservatives in the United States want to reduce. In real life, conservatives in the United States want to reduce access to contraception because they believe that sex outside of marriage is wrong. Okay, I can give you a million descriptive claims for why this is literal fucking brain AIDS. Okay, the number of abortions, but that doesn't sway a conservative off of their position because they're appealing to the normative claim that sex outside of marriage is wrong. It doesn't matter if I could provide data saying, well, this produces better outcomes in some ways. They would say, I don't give a fuck. This is wrong, period.
Destiny, real quick, I would suggest that you be a little bit more narrow with your choice of language. I don't know if it's necessarily fair to ascribe that belief to conservatives writ large.
Okay, evangelicals. The 70 million evangelicals that are in the U.S. that largely are conservative. But okay, sure.
Okay, yeah. So like you're trying to like trap me in this like weird fucking sense of like
I'm not trying to trap you.
Like, but you know that I agree with like these things that you're saying. Like my only thing that I don't agree with you with is that nobody actually lives by this like exact like
evangelicals
actually, the only thing I really want to. Huh?
Evangelicals live by this code that sex outside of marriage is wrong.
No, not that. I'm saying your system, your objective system of morality is abstract in every way. There is absolutely no context in reality about
I'm not comfortable with you saying mine is an objective system of morality. I appeal to the subjective preferences that I have as a subjective creature. There are things that I have preferences for, and those are the things that I prefer.
You don't acknowledge anybody's subjective morality if it's inconsistent.
Oh, yes, that is correct. I don't.
That's not right.
Because I believe that philosophically we can argue that there are forms of logic that we can epistemologically prove that things like formal logic exist independent of human experience. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that I can't build off of a subjective system, but just because you build off of a subjective system does not mean that all of a sudden you could be inconsistent. Does that make sense? You can have subjective systems that are built on subjective axioms, but once those axioms are defined, the system needs to remain wholly consistent. As an example of this, Star Trek, okay? If you're watching Star Trek and somebody goes to shoot a taser at somebody or phaser, and some guy guy pulls out a wand and casts a spell, you're going to say, what the fuck? This is bullshit. And if the person next to you looked to you and said, whoa, dude, Star Trek is totally subjective. It's not real. You wouldn't say that. You would go, well, listen, I understand that it's a fantasy world that's built off of subjective, fantastical elements, but there still needs to be an internal consistency to the world.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is that a slight, like, okay, so let's use that same example, and let's say in Star Trek they introduced like a new race of what's like in Voyager they introduced a weird race of aliens that wasn't really consistent with the universe and could like go invisible and like go into space and like break down ships and stuff, right? It was kind of weird, but it was a slight divergence from like what the story is, but
This
it was
is
consistent with the
Marketing
universe
101.
enough
You
that it was like
advertise a
fitting in.
product
And what
in
I'm
front of
saying is like a
5,000
slight
people from
subjective
that,
moral
let's say,
inconsistency doesn't invalidate a person's
30%,
entire
click on my
position. That's
link and
ridiculous. That's what I'm
5%
criticizing you
purchase the
for.
product.
Not
No,
only
a
that.
slight inconsistency
The
doesn't, but it
percentage
just
is
it makes it
variable based on the
really
audience
hard.
you're hitting.
When you say that like you were okay with some inconsistencies, it makes it real fucking hard for you to attack other people on their inconsistencies because everybody can point to you and say you have some inconsistencies in your moral code. Why can't I have some in mine?
Because there is no true perfect human. Nobody has any kind of lack of consistency, or everybody has a kind of lack of consistency.
This idea that because nobody is perfect, we can't strive towards perfection is absolutely absurd.
You can strive
to
towards
interject
it,
real quick, I'm having some trouble reconciling your belief that, you know, something being subjective does not necessarily mean that it's inconsistent. That seems to be, you know, by definition, that seems like it should be the case.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Okay, here is a subjective claim, okay? All sentient life, we should attempt to reduce the suffering of all sentient life. That claim
Buddhism.
veganism. This claim is entirely a subjective axiom. I cannot justify why we should reduce the suffering of all sentient life. That is just that is something that I put out there, and it is an unjustified assertion. However, let's say that I go to build a moral system, all of that. Let's say that I say that eating meat is wrong because we're harming animals. Okay, that's consistent with your axiom. Killing other people for no reason is wrong because you're causing harm to sentient life. That's okay. Murdering or killing somebody in self-defense is good because you're saving a life. Okay, that's okay. Having a club that women are forced to go to be raped every single day because some people like it, that's not okay. You're inconsistent. You said that you're trying to avoid the suffering of all sentient life. Why would you subject people to that kind of suffering? You're being inconsistent. Even though your moral system is built off of a subjective axiom, it still requires internal consistency for it to be valid. Does that make sense? How it can be built off of a subjective feeling but still require consistency?
It does make. Sorry,
It seems like my issue is one of definitions, but I'll move past it. Go ahead, Devin.
It does make sense, but what I'm saying is that the entire moral system that you have doesn't break down because of one inconsistency. That you can have that consistent basis, and then you can acknowledge consciously that you're making a morally inconsistent decision.
No, it doesn't. I'm not saying that it all breaks down. I'm saying that it just makes it hard for you to criticize other people, because they can always point out your own inconsistencies, and you kind of have to shut the fuck up. Here's an example, okay? Here's a real life example when I used to be a moral person or whatever fuck, right? I knew a guy that, very good looking guy, British dude, his name was Paul, okay? And he was a friend of my aunt. He smokes, okay? But he's like, he goes to the gym, he eats healthy, he works out really well, right? And I remember saying to him, it's like, Paul, you're a really smart dude. And he's like, yeah, thanks. And I'm like, yeah, why do you smoke? It seems like so dumb, you know, like you're a really smart dude. I respect you. It just seems like such a dumb thing to do. And he goes, you know what? You're kind of young, but I think you're a pretty smart dude too. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And he's like, you don't smoke, do you? And I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, you also don't work out. You don't eat healthy. You're pretty lethargic. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And he's like, you've got your vices. I've got mine. And it's like, okay, I have like no platform of which to attack you. I guess you're kind of right. How can I sit here and actually be super critical of you for being a smoker when you're doing things that are more healthy than I'm doing in a lot of ways? I can't really criticize your position, right?
Would you take fitness advice from him? If you believe that he was...
Sure, sure.
Yeah, right? Like, okay, so in that same way, we're saying the exact same thing, which is that, like, you cannot discount this person as an intelligent, functioning human being because he smokes. And what you're saying is, and like what you said to me,
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that
anybody
no. What I'm saying is that like if
that has a moral inconsistency.
If we wanted to hash out morals, let's say that we wanted to get into like arguments of legality, right? And now I've moved past just having a discussion on morals, but I want to say that he is committing a moral wrong. That for me to say, Paul, I'm going to take this a step further. Your smoking is actually unethical. Okay, it is bad to do. That he would say, okay, well, I would argue that you being lethargic and not paying attention to taking care of your body is also ethically wrong. And in that case, I would go, okay, I guess, but, I understand it is. I'm just kind of like, inconsistent on that. And he would go, okay, well, I'm inconsistent on mine. So we're back at square zero. You can't criticize my inconsistencies because you have your own and you accept and acknowledge those.
In the field of the same topic, yeah. But like, as long as what I'm saying is like where you go with it is like you're saying that because I have a moral inconsistency in like say eating meat, right? Where I acknowledge I've like done a lot of the research on veganism. I don't think there's any way for me to justify morally my eating of meat. I really don't. I like it doesn't seem like there is, right? There's like really kind of like dodgy stuff that's like we could say that like all like eco farming type of stuff makes use of animal products and services, but like it's really like thin, right? And you kind of came to the same conclusion. But the fact that I admit that I have a moral inconsistency with eating meat and that I acknowledge that is a moral inconsistency does not remove me from the conversation for further moral and ethical issues, and you think it does.
It makes it hard. Okay, maybe I can be more specific with my language. It makes it hard for you to compel other people to activities. So, like, if I think you ought act a certain way, it's harder for me to give you a moral compulsion to do so when I acknowledge that there are ways that I ought act that I don't follow through with.
I will accept that it is harder to do because that is different from you saying that it totally discounts someone and it's impossible.
Okay, when I say that it totally discounts someone, I guess I'm speaking insofar as them compelling other people to act in a certain way, which is what we kind of do in society. So, for instance,
but
if somebody
compelling to act, sorry,
go ahead.
Them compelling people to act in that subject or all subjects.
I guess it depends. It depends in the subject. I will agree with you that there is some level of scale. So, for instance, like if some guy is cheating in video games and he acknowledges it's wrong, that doesn't necessarily mean he can't argue against somebody that is like running around murdering women, and they think that's wrong too.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Maybe there is some level of scale, but when we look at things like the murder of animals or the harm of people in foreign countries that we don't see, I think that these are things of a huge scale that if you are dramatically inconsistent on, it makes it really hard for you to compel other people to act a certain way, if that makes sense. So like, and the meat eating thing is a thing that I have a lot of trouble with. It is really hard for me to accept a carnivore to sit there, or an omnivore, I guess, to sit there and tell me that it is morally wrong for me to say torture and murder a cat for fun, which I don't, because it's for no other reason, because I have no desire to. But it's hard for me to accept them saying that this is very wrong while they're eating a giant fucking cheeseburger.
Just to be clear, I'm not at all disagreeing with that. I like that's Dan's meme, but
okay,
like,
sure. But I think that walking across that line of murdering and torturing animals to murdering and torturing humans, I don't think that bridge is too far of a gap. Or when you talk about not caring about people in other countries because you don't see it, I think that you're getting pretty close to a weird field where it's like, okay, well, your hypocrisy here is reaching levels on issues that are so important, makes it really fucking hard for you to compel other people to believe any moral statement that you, or any moral claim you make, that they ought to follow it.
You don't think that a person's consciousness or awareness of that moral inconsistency is relevant to their ability to be on the battlefield of that debate? Like, so for example, like, I've taken the time to read about veganism. Mm-hmm. I've tried to be a vegan for I've decided to eat meat, acknowledging that I have a moral inconsistency in doing so. I've probably done more effort in this field than the average person who thinks about eating
Killing
meat,
animals
right?
is a moral
and in
wrong
doing
under your
so,
system
that
of reciprocated
increases
values.
my clout on my platform.
Knowing that and not
to
wanting
be
to
more
go
relevant
vegan
when
does
discussing
not
other
make
moral
you
and
a
ethical issues.
hypocrite.
I'm sorry, wait, can you
It
repeat that
makes
last
you
part?
a bad person.
It increases my clout on my platform to discuss other moral and ethical issues.
If you're consistent?
No, but yeah, and because I've taken the time to become more informed.
No, I think it hurts you. I think it greatly hurts you. If you take the time to investigate an ethical position and you discover that you were actually even more hypocritical than you thought before, but you still you still choose to remain hypocritical or inconsistent, I think it hurts your position even more.
No, because what okay, in that topic it does, but again, like what my
in
concern
most
is
topics,
like
because it feels like you don't have a moral system. You're actually the same as Destiny. You're just pretending you're not. You have a system of preferences that you appeal to, and if something falls outside of your system of preferences, all of your moral code and all that shit is totally fucking worthless. You are engaging in these same post hoc rationalizations that Destiny is. If it feels good, you do it. If it doesn't, you don't. And that's really the extent of everybody's moral system. Most people just don't admit it. That's my ultimate argument.
Okay, I understand that, and that's a really strong argument. What I would counter with is that I think that there is some kind of like nature to human beings that is gregarious, and that most human beings are driven.
You got to be careful because there are periods of human history where I could use that same argument to justify hatred against transgender people, hatred against homosexual people, hatred against black people,
and the Jews.
Fuck the Jews.
Whoa!
Okay,
I'm coming for you, Dan.
What I'm saying is like again, like I don't want to go like right down that scale again where I just get like fucked over by that argument, because that's not the argument I'm trying to make.
Okay.
The argument I'm trying to make, right, is that we've acknowledged that there is some level of scale, but that I am not excluded from the conversation because I have a conscious moral inconsistency.
You're not excluded from it. It just makes it really, really hard for you to compel other people to act a certain way. It makes it
different. So here's the thing, okay?
Yeah.
I agree with you. So let's use my example, which is that I have this moral inconsistency with veganism. I acknowledge that I'm making this mistake, making this moral error, I'll say. And if I start going out and compelling everybody to eat meat or not eat meat, then that is a position that certainly needs to be put into question. However, if I am going to go out and expound like what I do normally, which is like I'm very interested in optimal performance in human beings, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I tell people to read nonfiction books. I tell people to meditate. I tell people to do intermittent fasting, right? Those are things that are perfectly within my grounds to be able to do. I'm perfectly able to do that with my experience and who I am. And my position in eating meat doesn't take away from those things, because they're two totally separate fields. Do you see?
From a strictly logical sense, I would agree.
All right. That's my whole point.
But man, in real life, that's a hard one. Because in a strictly logical sense, you could be the biggest hypocrite in the world. Well, no, it depends on what the conversation topic is. I think I got lost somewhere in this explanation. Wait. Well, I don't even remember what the original, wait, what are we talking about?
Woo! You wouldn't actually kill a cat. That's what we're talking about. I want to go back there. I shared the scene.
Yeah, Dan can go back.
Wait,
I'm done.
You giving your opinion on a topic wouldn't necessarily be degraded by your other opinions, but you compelling somebody to act in a certain way would be degraded by your other opinions.
Only in that relevant field is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No. I think you can argue. I think you can argue in degrees of scale. So, for instance, if someone is a wholly moral person, but they acknowledge that sometimes they get mad and they cut people off in traffic, that doesn't mean that that person can't tell somebody that you're not allowed to get mad and murder your wife, right? Because these are degrees of scale. But if you're off on degrees of scale in pretty important ethical matters, then I think it becomes very hard for you to tell other people that they ought act a certain way in regards to certain matters.
Okay, so let's go back to my example.
Wait, can I give examples that you agree with, and then you can tell me you don't agree?
Yeah, please.
So let's say you have a person that believes that all human life should be respected, okay, and that and you should act virtuous in most ways, in ways that we both agree are virtuous, right? Let's say that this person sometimes lies when they fill out online questionnaires. They're 17 and they lie sometimes so that they can play video games online, okay? Because you got to be 18 or older. This person doesn't all of a sudden lose the ability to tell another person, hey, you shouldn't murder people because it's wrong. And the guy's like, well, you lie in your online surveys. I should be able to murder people if I want, right? You're inconsistent, right? Yeah, sure. So I would agree with that.
But, okay, but that's what I felt like the argument, to be clear, that was the argument I felt like you were making. Was that any moral inconsistency excludes a person from the discussion, which I totally disagree with.
Maybe we can agree that there are scales where that's not necessarily true. But I think that once we've gotten to the scale of discussing respecting animal life, that if you're willing to be wholly and radically inconsistent here, I think that damages you on a scale that is very fucking large, that makes it very difficult for you to compel people to moral actions, even regarding humans. Maybe it should have been more specifically about that topic.
Okay, that's fine. So we can address that particularly. So if so just to be clear, like to outline that, you're saying that my moral inconsistency and being okay with eating meat, right? It excludes me from issuing other moral and ethical compulsions to human beings.
Sure.
That's your position?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would say is that, and your other position is that even if I am conscious of that moral inconsistency, it makes it worse, not better.
I think being conscious makes it worse. Not even if you're conscious, like it's a help. I think that being conscious of it makes it worse.
Okay. So in what way does me being inconsistent with eating meat, like, so would you acknowledge that I'm, hang on, let's go back to questions. Would you acknowledge that I'm a person who knows a lot about fitness and like human optimization?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so like I know quite a bit about like developing people mentally and physically, right? Like I've done PT, I've done I've coached entire teams on this. Like I have a background in this, right? Okay, so what I don't understand is how my position in not eating meat at all excludes me from all of that experience and all of that ability that I have to enhance other human beings, right? Or to
compel people,
give them, to compel them to a better framework for their existence.
Sure. But these aren't like deep moral questions or whatever. These are kind of like helping people, optimize their life or whatever. You're not compelling somebody morally to act in a different way. And even if you are,
so can you tell me what's like the difference?
The difference is that like whether or not somebody does or doesn't optimize their own physical health isn't like a moral compulsion that's like such a huge deal, because it's not like you're impacting the autonomy of another person. Whereas murdering somebody or murdering an animal, these are huge moral acts that infringe on the autonomy of another creature.
Okay, then I'll come at it a different way.
Okay.
So I'm you've also acknowledged me as like a pretty successful person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, like societally, yeah. I've like employed a lot of people. I've built things from the ground up, and like I have a good. Also, like I'm a functioning member of society. I have like a lot of good friendships, and like I have a community online that I espouse like values to, and like that I try to enhance like through by being the best version of themselves. Okay, you take that person, and you say, and then you say, well, because that person, despite all of those things, eats meat, they're not qualified to give other people a system of values because of this fact. It seems not right.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm going to just jump in and say I'm heading out. I've made my friend Garter Flanks wait for over an hour to play some League of Legends, so I'm going to go do that.
Bro, look at this guy. Pretends he's got fucking ethical systems and shit. Still plays fucking League. Get out of here.
Hey, listen. I only have media ethics, all right? I don't give a fuck about the morals, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, I really like you, for the record.
Yeah, you're a cool dude. This guy's really cool, actually. Yeah. I'm glad I got to talk to him. This is part of my media savvy audience right here. See?
All right, I'm leaving. Peace out.
Okay. Right? So like that's what I'm saying about that, right? So like it feels like you almost put me on a lower tier of like being human because I have this moral inconsistency, when like I'm just as able to I'm just as able to feel these things as you. And then the other thing I disagree with is like the conscious versus unconscious thing about admitting a moral inconsistency, because I think like consciously admitting a moral inconsistency, acknowledging that it's wrong, but then proceeding to do better for humanity in spite of it is a better position than being inconsistent and then not even knowing or
well, because
otherwise.
If you don't know about it, maybe you don't know how inconsistent you're being. So it's like a thing. But if you know your inconsistency and you still choose to do it, now you're willfully...
But like I and I'm using myself as an example because I think I'm the best example for this, okay? Like I have devoted my life to the betterment of humanity. I really have. My mission in life is to inspire breakthroughs in all beings, right? That's on my Twitter, it's everywhere, okay? Like I spend almost all my time either trying to figure out how to optimize people physically, mentally, and spiritually, or do it myself so that I can teach it to other people, okay? Yet I eat meat. And now that immediately disqualifies me from any good that I can do morally.
It doesn't disqualify you. It just makes it hard for you to morally compel people to act in certain ways.
It makes me hard to morally compel people to act that way in that
Let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say that you have a guy, okay, let's say that you have a guy who works his whole fucking life on bettering the lives of people around him, and he actually has like huge influence. Let's say he does this all around the fucking country, and even groups that are maybe minority groups or whatever, that this guy, you know, is able to reach out and get them to act in better ways. He's a good role model, et cetera, et cetera. Let's say that later on in his life, because he's been so good, he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go fucking rape some people. And at the end of that, he's like, cool. And then everybody finds out about it. Do you think that this person can still give like moral compulsions to people if it's come out that he's like a big fucking raper, as long as he's done a lot of good?
No, but you just did the same thing you do all the time, which is like you went to like the raping kids argument.
Okay, listen, I'm talking about Bill Cosby. Okay?
What?
Bill Cosby. So after the Bill Cosby rapes came out, he still did. The Cosby Show was an incredibly positive thing for the black community. Yes. He went out of his way to never portray a black person in a negative light, and he did a lot for having a show where black people were educated, they spoke well, they did a lot of great shit, and, you know, he helped a lot of people, but he's also a rapist. So now that we know everything about Bill Cosby, do you think that Bill Cosby is in a position where he can come out and give advice to people about how they ought to act?
Okay, so this is a really good point you brought up, and like this is definitely like one of those. So this is one of those things where I can get caught in like a really dangerous place, right?
And keep in mind, I'm not trying to catch you. It's entirely possible, that you could say like, well, I need to think about this more, and then like we come back and talk about it later.
No, I think this one I have an answer on, and what I would say, and maybe I do like on your next point, but I'm not there yet. But like on this one, I would say that you have to consider both of the things that are the realities of Bill Cosby, where in one instance, I would not listen to that dude on his commentary on like the plight of women in America, right? Like, I mean, he's obviously created an enormous moral inconsistency on that field, and I think it's terrible what he did. I also think that if you were talking about something like influence of television in the black community, that he may still have context that's valuable to people.
So
right?
You think that Bill Cosby could go on stage and morally compel people to act in morally righteous ways? You don't think that people would look at that and go...
I think Bill Cosby has been excluded from an enormous amount of subjects, if not all subjects, by what he did. But he committed a massive moral inconsistency. He committed a massive egregious error.
And I would argue the same for anybody else that is like, I choose to eat meat, so it's kind of hard to give moral prescriptive views on like how you should
eating meat on the same level as raping and date raping a bunch of women. It's not. It's a completely different level and moral scale.
Vegans would disagree with you.
Really?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Let me just make that really. I want to make sure that's clear. Okay, you're saying that a vegan would tell me that I'm as bad as Bill Cosby because I eat a chicken a day.
Arguably, yeah. No, they would say that you're worse in a lot of respects. That you're actually like advocating for the wholesale raising, hormone injecting, long-term torture, and then cruel murder of animals. Yeah. That in a lot of ways they would say it's worse than what Bill Cosby did. I think that we can go to the Ask Yourself Vegan game server right now, and we can ask all those vegans and see what they would say about it.
I mean, I just don't know where to go from there then.
Well, the thing is that if you're a vegan, you hold animal life, you hold all sentient life to be pretty similar in regards to moral consideration. So a person that runs around and is murdering a ton of fucking animals, it would be similar to a person running around and murdering a bunch of people. Now, a vegan would probably be reasonable and say, like, if I had to save like 2 cows or 1 human, I would probably save the human or something like that. But for the most part, if you're running around just murdering animals for fun, vegans would argue that, well, you're killing sentient life for no reason other than pleasure. This is comparable to murdering humans. It's incredibly comparable.
And they don't consider that the act is not direct. That doesn't matter to them.
Well, the act being direct isn't unique to vegans. That's a different argument. And how many levels removed does a person have responsibility for an act? And I mean,
that's collective responsibility, right?
Well, but like if you're eating meat, you're pretty directly responsible for the death of whatever animal you're eating. Like you're literally eating the fucking meat. It's not like you're giving money to a house that buys.
Economics argument to be made here, right?
No,
like where
not.
It's like, why isn't there?
Because if you don't eat meat, then that piece of meat that would have been ordered to feed you is not being ordered.
Yeah, that's like true on like a really micro level.
But it's but that's because the wholesale torture and murder of animals happens on an incredibly macro level. But
yeah,
But like, if I'm not gonna go to the rape argument. Okay, I'm gonna use a murder argument instead. Let's say that there was a society. Let's say there's a society. Let's say there's a society where 1 million people are lined up against a wall, and every day people walk over and shoot all those people. Do you think that if you walk to that wall and you shoot and murder a person, that it's better because there's 999,999 other people doing it? That because you're part of a larger system, if you directly do it, that all of a sudden you're not as morally culpable? If it was just one-on-one?
So we've reached a position I don't think that, I need to think more about before I can address, because basically once you brought up that vegans are considering, like, basically the whole thing is like, I'm basically equivalent to Bill Cosby in the level of wrong that I've created because I eat a chicken a day. I don't know how to answer that truthfully.
I don't know if I would say you're as morally wrong, but I would say that you're committing a moral wrong on a level where a lot of people, and I think they could justify pretty well, would argue that it's very hard for you to morally compel people to act a certain way when you acknowledge a glaring hypocrisy in your own system that you choose not to worry about. Is what I would say.
Okay. But understanding that there is a level of scale to that. And
sure, but the scale of murdering
that,
many animals would be comparable to murdering a person. So the scale here is fair. A lot of people would argue, and I think I would defend that argument that the scale is similar.
Okay, but the reality, the practical reality of society is that nobody gets discounted in that way for eating meat.
Well, yeah, because the majority of people aren't vegans. Much the same way that 250 years ago, having slaves wouldn't have been a big deal either.
So do you think if I give life advice on my YouTube channel, and do you think if I had like a 10% vegan audience, for example, they would be like, fuck this guy because this guy eats meat? Really?
Oh yeah. Dude, even some of my audience rebelled against me. And I've even got like the amoral arguments technically for it, but yeah.
Wait, aren't vegans basically full of shit? Like any of them that has an iPhone or anything else, that they put animal life above human life?
No, just because you have certain values, like you can try your hardest to be consistent and recognize that to some extent, like, you know, not every single person can be 100% perfectly fucking perfect on some things. That there's like reasonable levels of accommodation. So like
that's my whole fucking argument.
No, because it is very reasonable for you to not eat meat. That's like a huge fucking deal. You cannot eat meat.
It's a huge fucking deal.
Wow.
It's a huge fucking deal nutritionally. Like for me to make up.
You can get more or less everything you're missing from like a meat-based argument for.
It's a big deal. It's harder to live your life.
No, stop! You bothered to shut the fuck up now because everybody's about to say some really dumb shit. It's not different because avoiding the use of all technology in life is a massive sacrifice that I don't know if everybody could make that. That is a huge give up. Not eating meat is not even remotely comparable to that. It is very easy to maintain your level of health and maintain your level of nutrition and give up meat. To try to make this bullshit argument, okay, which a lot of chat is like, is bullshit, to say that giving up all electronics is going to be the same as giving up meat, that is a bullshit-ass argument that people say to make themselves feel better about being meat eaters.
There's 101 things like that, though. It's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't ever use Amazon now because Amazon is worse to its employees and is a union-busting organization and makes those humans' lives worse.
If you're a big lefty, there are people that believe that don't support people like Elon Musk, that don't support people like Jeff Bezos or Bezos or whatever. Sure, yeah, of course.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're a vegan, shouldn't you, and you value life, shouldn't you value human life above all things? And before you even start thinking about animals, you start thinking about the lower-hanging fruit that's directly affecting people directly.
Sure, but just because you're putting people above animals doesn't mean that all of a sudden animals become okay to fucking eat. Like, you can still be a vegan and say that animal life is less important than human life, while still saying, but I'm not going to torture and eat animals.
Okay, but like that's just your personal barometer of what you have. I don't think it makes it morally right or morally wrong to do it. I think it's less important than other things that they could do.
Wait,
and they choose
no,
to land
what?
On this.
Hold on. If I walk down the street and one guy's got a Lambo and another guy's got a fucking Honda Accord, it's probably more mean for me to bust a light on the Lambo than the Honda. But that doesn't mean that it's okay for me to go beat up the Honda just because, you know, it's a lesser wrong than beating up on the Lambo. That doesn't make any sense. It's totally nonsensical. What you're saying is totally nonsensical. Like,
No. I think we're misunderstanding myself. If there's two companies, let's say Google is really fucking bad for the environment and they fuck everything up, but their phones are shit, and everyone loves iPhone, but they're fucking horrible, and they employ people in fucking Africa getting cobalt, and it's really a huge scandal. Can I give shit to you for using an Android phone instead of an iPhone, or whatever the argument was, or vice versa?
If you're what? If they're involved in like some big
Yeah, exactly. If there's a corporation that has a net negative on the world, is it reasonable for me to expect for you not to use that product when there's an alternative that might be inferior or worse?
Absolutely.
And should that be
yeah,
higher?
yeah, sure. Yeah,
So,
people do
okay.
this. Yeah, of course. Yeah. People that are
Okay.
super critical of capitalism sometimes will do this, where they won't support certain companies because they feel like it would be antithetical to their positions on economics and whatnot. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so let's imagine, I can't point to an example here, but let's both agree that there probably is a likely point. So let's just assume that Apple is really bad for the environment and a lot of people die as a result of that. Now, is it reasonable to assume that a lot of vegans out there would still have an iPhone, even if they knew that fact?
I don't want to answer for all vegans, but I think that if a company took an especially anti-animal stance or whatever, that vegans would probably boycott that company. I would imagine so, yeah.
You think that see, I just completely disagree with this front. I think that a lot of vegans do a lot of things that are bad for the environment. I think they do things that are specifically bad for people, right? Because it's the whole thing they criticize meat eaters for, which is looking the other way and not understanding the problem. They're not willing to do the work. I don't think it's that much work to, whenever you buy a product, to really understand the supply chain of where the product comes from, but they choose not to do it.
Well, sure, but whoa. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, and I would say that those vegans are pieces of shit too. Yeah, of course, I don't disagree with you. But there are vegans. 99%. There are vegans that will like not even own cars because the production that goes into creating said cars harms so much animal life that they would say,
sure,
like,
and they can have the moral high ground, but everyone else can fuck off.
Sure. The thing about like the only thing about eating about the vegan thing is that avoiding the use of every single thing related to animals could be very fucking hard because of the great lengths you have to go to totally avoid that, if that makes sense. Like eating meat or not eating meat, that's a very easy thing to give up and find replacements for. Removing yourself from every single part of society that utilizes animal shit, that could be very fucking hard to do, and it can because there are no replacements, right?
I'm not even talking animal. I'm talking stuff that's bad to people and everything else. I think that animal shit. Well, I'm sure that there's products that are extremely bad for the environment, but are kind of used a lot, like, probably stuff with electronics, maybe some food products, things along those lines that are very bad as a result of that are used. I think there's probably certain fabrics, certain clothing. I bet you a lot of vegan people would not have a problem going to the Gap.
Maybe.
Right?
No. Vegan people are generally pretty conscientious of like where clothing comes from. That's why you'd be vegan instead of vegetarian.
I'm not sure I agree on this level. I think it's very hard. Okay, the whole point is if you care this much about life, why not dedicate your fucking life towards helping people instead of going down the food chain? It's like, okay, people dying, people suffering, people this. I'm going to land on animals.
No. That is not rational, and that is a different argument, okay? I can make the argument that, hey, donating money to charity is good, and then some guy's like, really? Why do you ever buy hot chocolate? Every single fucking extra dollar you have should always be going to charity at all points in time. Like, whoa, dude, like, I don't think that's totally reasonable, okay? We can have reasonable levels of expectations for what you can give up or not give up. But I don't think it's fair to say that giving up every single part of your life that might harm an animal is of the same level of difficulty as giving up eating animal products or wearing animal products. These two things are not equivalent whatsoever.
Oh, I think it's probably more expensive to be a vegan. I think it significantly limits your options when you go out to eat. And I think overall, your life is probably worse as a result of being a vegan. So
okay,
why fucking do it?
Okay, the last thing was a hugely subjective claim. So is it harder to find food? To some extent, yeah, sure. But
not to some extent, yes.
No,
it is.
to some extent, no.
This is just a lie. This is just a lie.
What?
How do you just go on the internet and lie like this? It's easy. It's just as easy to be a fucking vegan as to eat anything.
Stop fucking strawmanning me, you piece of shit. It is not just as easy, but it is very easy. Go to the fucking grocery store. It is not hard to find animal substitute products or just fucking leafy vegetables and shit that aren't meat or used with dairy or anything.
It's like a fucking half of an aisle at a major fucking supermarket.
What? It's like 3/4 of the fucking supermarket. What are you talking about?
The vegan gluten-free bullshit.
You don't need gluten-free shit.
All right, well, whatever.
You just don't eat meat. You don't eat dairy products.
Sir, I think I made my fucking point here. All right, sir. Thank you. No. You go out to a restaurant. You're telling me it's just as easy to order at a restaurant?
There are depending on where you live, that could be prohibitive. Sure, you don't have to eat out though. But like if you live in California, if you live in fucking Miami, you can find or South Beach, you can find fucking restaurants that are vegan restaurants. Okay.
Dan, dude.
Hey, shut the fuck up, spiritual Devin. All right, how dare you fucking criticize me? All right, I'm not talking about rocks having feelings over here. I'm getting right to the crux of it. It costs more shekels to live as a fucking vegan. There's less shit that I can eat, less enjoyment out of my life, and I really give a shit about anything out there. It's fucking people. It's sure shit is not about fucking cows. All right, fuck them. I got bigger things to worry about. All right, and if I start caring about shit, I'm not going to start with cows. That's not where I'm starting.
Listen. It's just about taking a reasonable effort to further something that you consider to be morally righteous, okay? If you consider that all sentient life is worthy of moral consideration, okay, that would mean that murdering animals is a great fucking moral wrong, and you would do your best to avoid consuming animals. If you want it, let's say that you feel that you might not even go full vegan. Maybe you like buy Soylent and you drink that for 2 meals a day and you just eat some dairy products and you still recognize it's wrong, but you're making like the best faith effort you can, okay? Like that could even be more acceptable to a vegan than saying fuck it completely. But to make this argument that going vegan from a diet point of view is as difficult as giving up every single electronic device in your life is total fucking horseshit. Because
no, it's not that it's as difficult.
Because food
it's
has substitutes,
difficult.
but electronics and shit oftentimes don't have substitutes.
It's not that it's less difficult. It's just that I'm not willing to do it.
Well, that's fine. Maybe that's, but then if you're not willing to do it, but this is different because you don't acknowledge that it's a moral wrong, so you don't have to be willing to do it. But if you did acknowledge that it was a moral wrong, but you don't even make the effort to change your diet, then how could you ever criticize somebody for, say, like running over kids on the way home from school because they really want to play games? Oh,
yeah, I can, because it's just completely fucking different.
What do you mean?
Okay, let me slow down a little bit here. You're getting me a little hot and bothered, all right?
Okay.
I got to settle down. I'm getting a little excited here. All right, first of all, let's go to the crux of this thing. Me choosing not to be a fucking vegan, that's fine, because I don't see cows in my fucking day-to-day life, and fuck them anyway.
That's not even a good fucking argument, Dan.
That is a good argument.
Okay, well, in that case, it's time to cut off the funding from Israel. We're spending way too much money on those motherfuckers. The great nation of Palestine will rise again.
In the Middle East.
No,
that is an oasis around
I don't see Israelites.
Sea of terrorism.
I don't see Israelites.
Yeah. You know why you don't see fucking terrorism? It's because they're there in the fucking front line defending.
No, it's because I'm a Palestinian. I'm not a Palestinian, so Jews don't commit terrorist acts.
No such fucking thing, my dude.
So you defend some people, you defend your Israeli brothers in fucking Israel, and you don't see them at all. You don't fucking know anything about what's going on over there. You haven't made your goddamn pilgrimage yet. So obviously you don't even believe the own tenet that you just fed me that, well, if I don't see it, it doesn't bother me, because that's obviously not true.
I can have a figurative logic. I understand that in society, cats are cute, dogs are cute. I see them day to day. I understand they're on TV. They're part of my social background. Cows and fucking livestock are not. That's very much fed to Americans that these are just fucking food. Okay, so I don't have that set.
Okay,
it's a willful ignorance of it.
But the same thing can be said about black people 250 years ago.
Yeah, it can, and cultures change over time, and in the future...
Wait, did I bring Dan over to the destiny side of supporting slavery? Can you just tell me that if you lived 250 years ago, you'd be all in support of slavery? Come to the hedonism side, Dan.
Yeah, I would.
It's great. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Wait a second. Guys, wait a second.
I got him, boy.
Yeah, no, I was already here. Your morals are based on what time you're on, and the only thing that you can do is accept the morals based off of where you're at right now.
That's moral relativism. I agree with you, Dan. 100%. Why are we even arguing? Let's gang up on Devin, dude.
Well, I mean, yeah. But you said you wanted to kill a cat. That's not current with the times. In the future, that might be okay.
As long as you say to me, the only thing you could say to me is, Destiny, you shouldn't kill cats because I don't like it when you do that. Not that it's some
not
great
okay
moral
right now.
Whoa! Don't say that it's not okay, because now you're talking about some moral system. Just say, Steven, you shouldn't kill cats because I don't like it when you do it, and then we're on the same page, Dan. Just say that.
This society.
Don't say it's not no. Fuck society. Yeah. No.
Right now, it's not okay to do it. That's
just tell me that you don't like it, and I'll be like,
yeah, but why? Fine. But why do I not like it? It's because
it's your preference. Join the hedonist. Yeah, because it's our preference. Yeah, wait.
Why is it my preference?
Because it is. Who the fuck cares why? You don't have to justify your preferences.
It's my preference because it's ingrained into my current society.
You don't have to justify your preference.
No, I don't have to. I'm just telling you. That's the reason it is for everyone.
Sure.
Is that the current society we live in has said it's wrong to hurt soft, cute animals, and it's okay to say fuck cows and pigs. And that's why it's okay.
Okay, sure.
And when times change,
just don't tell me that it's wrong to do it. Don't tell me
it
it's
is
not
wrong.
okay.
They're soft and cute, and everyone knows it. Okay, so
then
it is
why
wrong.
do you appeal to preference?
You're
Just
wrong.
no,
You're
wait.
in the wrong time.
Then you need to just
I'm in the right time.
Stop. Then stop appealing to your personal preference. Just appeal to popularity. Just say that,
Okay,
like,
then
yeah.
popular. Yeah,
Then just
sure,
like,
I'm
oh,
okay
well,
with
whatever
that.
the society says is popular, that's what's right or wrong. There you go.
Yeah, that kind of makes what's okay. Yeah, based on what people say. That's why slavery was okay in the past. So many things were okay, and now
Hold
they're
on.
not.
1 second. What up, dude?
Listen, all I want to accomplish here is I want you to admit that you like cats and you would never hurt one because it's built into you, and that's
no,
okay.
it's not built into me. I don't give a fuck about fucking cats, dude.
That's
I don't
a
care.
lie.
I don't care.
That's a lie.
I don't care. If
you
I
do
have a
care.
cat and I like spend a lot of time with it, maybe, but like a general fucking cat, I don't give a fuck, dude.
Hey, some guy who can't even fucking spell his own name right just said that I'm the lowest IQ person. Fuck you, all right? Fuck you, guy in chat. I've had enough of you guys in my fucking stream. In this stream, I'm done with your bullshit, all right? You're a fucking stream watcher. I'm a stream participator. Let's fucking get on the same goddamn level, you motherfucker. Coming at me like that, you best bring something to back it up. I want to hear. Tell me about your accomplishments. What did you do, a geeky gamer? Fucking tell me. Are you a CEO of fucking Amazon? Wow, dude. Why are you on Destiny's chat? That's fucking amazing.
Are you
Fucking
copying my
cocksucker.
humor? Now get the fuck out of here. You guys are a bunch of
I'm
you're
older
a
than you.
humor
I'm
leech,
older than you.
And you're
If
still
anything, you've
copying
copied
me.
me.
Bullshit. Unbelievable.
Listen.
Are we tagging me back in?
Yeah, go for it. One time.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, you okay? Or do you want to?
Fuck that guy.
You want to keep memeing, dude?
I don't got shit to say for these motherfuckers. Yeah, you go ahead. I'll tag you in, Devin. Hit him up with those philosophical memes. I like it. Let's do it.
Okay, thanks, man. So
Wait,
all right.
while you do
so-
that, I'm gonna go get my vegan-approved Soylent and use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Have
Wait,
you had
okay.
Soylent, Devin?
What?
I have a case of Soylent here that I can ship to you.
No, I have a way superior product that I eat for meal supplementation. Soylent, I don't think is like the end all be all of like full meal supplementation. I think there's two better ones. One is Athletic Greens, and one is Living Fuel. Living Fuel is definitely the best one, but no one's like ever heard of it.
Well, I got a case of this shit I can send up to you. Or when you come down here to South Beach, you can bring it home with you.
Do it as a giveaway on your stream, I did.
For Soylent? I don't think I'd want to do that to anyone. Maybe someone I don't like.
So you
tried
want to
one,
give it
dude.
to me?
Well, you like it. That's on you.
No, I actually don't think Soylent's like a really great. Well, I don't know. I like it like, yeah. Okay, never mind.
Why would they choose the name Soylent too? Like, is that like I don't know how so many people have forgotten that. Like, it's made of people. You know this, right?
You should do a giveaway for like Soylent stuff on your stream. People will be super pumped.
The soy giveaway. All right.
Yeah. And then
A
send stuff to
giveaway.
people. You'll create a fan for life if you send somebody something like, and then they get it from you and they like remember that.
Dude, I could give away so much shit. I'm
Really?
loaded with random fucking. Like every day, I have 3 to 4 packages that come in for shit for everyday carry. I could give away a wallet a day. I'd never run out. Pocket
Dude,
knives,
you should.
Wallets,
That would be huge for your fan base. Like that's 1,000 true fans right there.
1,000 true fans.
Haven't you heard that?
They
I
wouldn't be
told you
true
that.
fans. They just love me for my shekels, not for my personality.
No. You create true fans that way. So, I send people books, not just because like I legitimately like. Okay, well the difference is I legitimately care, but like I send people books and stuff like that, and they've told me for years afterwards they remember that and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. For the people that are asking, the product that I'm talking about from Living Fuel, if you go on Living Fuel's website, I'll link it. Is super. I'm not sponsored by these guys or whatever in any way. They're a very small company. But here it's this link. That Super Greens product is the best product that I've found for health and supplementation. The secondary one that's a little bit less expensive is Athletic Greens. Disclaimer: the Living Fuel Super Greens tastes like feet. Tastes like literal feet, like you're licking a foot. But if you
Wow.
want to be healthy, you got to lick some feet.
I'm not sure I subscribe to your description of healthy if I'm eating feet every day.
What? The taste of feet has nothing to do with the actual.
By the way, did you see my weight loss graph? I'm going to post it in DGG chat. Check this out.
Wow, they crashed it? No, they didn't. All right, never mind.
Hold on. Check this out. Wait, that's not the right one.
Do you have a blog or something that can help me being a fat piece of shit? You can follow me at Twitch TV /Mylixia
Look at-
/Mylixia.
Look
Or
at the link I
YouTube
just posted in
/Mylixia. I talk
chat,
about that
Devin.
shit. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It is a lot. It's very expensive, but it's the best. I'm not going off of expensive. There's for cost to dollar ratio or whatever, there's probably better options. Athletic Greens is a cheaper option and it's close. But what I'm saying is for all health, right? For like the best health meal replacement, that is the best that you can get. And if you're working out a lot, you'll want to get their protein supplement as well, which is Living Fuel proteins. But you can also do athletic greens with more. What's that? What, Dan?
Did you click my link?
Yeah, I did. I'm looking at it right now.
What do you think?
I think you've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
and I'm very proud of you.
In a month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievably impressive, but you're doing it by not eating. So I don't know. I mean, like, I have no real criticism.
Eat, just not that much.
Yeah. Yeah, you're basically doing caloric restriction. Like, I'm super proud of you. I have no criticism. It's really cool.
People saying I'm 5'6", I'm fucking not. That's objectively false. There's photos of me towering above fucking Steven where, yeah, that's not possible. I'm 5'11".
He's 6'5".
6'5".
6'5" fucking Adonis with 10% body fat and
right.
all muscle. Yeah.
You know what? He wouldn't hurt a cat. It's a fucking meme. You know what else? He'd rescue a 3-year-old. Also a fucking meme. And it takes away from his fucking arguments when he said he wouldn't. Because everyone knows he would. How are you gonna lie like that on the fucking internet, right? It's a lie. I know it's a lie. Because there's no man alive who would say that. No one.
I don't think Steven's memeing, but my argument's like for him is like totally separate. Like, and I'm gonna get him when he comes back. I'm gonna get him.
Good. We'll hit him up together.
Yeah.
Tag team him. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, dude,
you know,
like
you know what the expression "run the train"?
Like Goten and Trunks, dude.
Yeah, but you know the expression "running the train"?
Yeah, but I like mine better.
We're gonna run the train on Steven.
Okay.
You can pick which angle you want. I'm good either way. Or that'll be the pig roast. Spit roast.
I failed a 48-hour-long fast, passed out from hyperglycemia at hour 36. You should a normal human body shouldn't do that if you're on a good diet. You should get checked up. You should like
Wait, normal human body shouldn't do what?
This dude passed out on a 48-hour fast. Like I'm telling him to get checked by a doctor. That's weird. That's weird.
If your first time ever going on a 48-hour fast, I bet you could pass out. No.
Like it depends on, I guess, the definition of pass out. Like if you like fall over and like faint, that shouldn't happen. He should get checked by a doctor because the human body shouldn't do that.
Yeah, maybe. 48 hours seems like a long time without food. I wonder if you're like borderline like diabetic, like pre-diabetic. I wonder if not eating for that long could like cause like dangerous blood sugar dropping or something.
Yeah, it can 100%. Like fatal. That's like a really important thing, but that's different.
Regarding the vegans are inconsistent.
Are we tagging back in? Are you ready for this?
That's not true because vegans think it is not okay to harm animals or meat specifically.
Yeah.
No, they might be okay with it for cars.
No, because it's going to start up a whole meme. So if you should say, you should say it.
I think he was memeing on interrupting you. That's
No, I think I made my point. You can go ahead.
Wait, what?
I made my point initially. He wouldn't kill a cat. He wouldn't fucking leave a petri, or he wouldn't leave the baby.
The only divide between you and Steven is that you don't think he's edgy enough to do these things. And
no, I know he's not. I know it's a fucking act. But like, I don't know how long he can go on, but like, it's such bullshit. It's bullshit, and you know it's bullshit.
Damn.
How can you keep it up?
Well, one day we'll go and I'll free my parents from those animals, Dan, and you'll look at me a different.
No, but even that's with a purpose. That's with a purpose. Okay.
Well, of course, I'm not gonna run around like indiscriminately killing animals recreationally. I'm not like a hunter. What the fuck?
Like I actually take Steven at his word. Like I think he's genuine.
That's your mistake. No,
I mean, but ultimately, like,
that's because Devin really knows me, and Dan, you don't know shit. You know nothing, enough. Dan Hark.
I know enough.
I've already grilled Steven in like real life to find out that he really is this person. Like and like I had like one of those oh shit moments. I'm like, well, I'm dealing with an actual like. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Don't be edgy. Thanks. No edginess on this stream. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm dealing with an actual dude that feels this way. Yeah.
He's not cool enough to be a sociopath.
We're not talking about that even. Stop being edgy, dude.
That's your words, not mine.
Yeah, those are your words, Dan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, real question. When we're in Japan, let me just get this done. Are we gonna be able to eat? Okay, first off, I need to have a good time. I can't be restricted by your guys', dare I say, R-word eating schedules where it's like, yes, I eat once a day between 4 and 5 and no fucking
gluten. Just eat when you want. We'll watch you eat.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be eating by myself with you guys squeezing your hog in the corner, just to be clear. That's what's going to be happening.
Just chill. Everything will be fine, okay?
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Okay, I can't wait.
And you can't even ban me for it either. I'm gonna do it no matter what.
All right, go on with your meme. I got fucking Rust to do. Come over to Superior Stream once this is done.
Oh, just
Or
stream
when
at me
don't-
in the background. It's fine.
All right, yeah, I'll do it. You think I won't? I don't give a fuck. I'll
You don't
do
care if
it.
you get banned? Then
won't
I can
get
never
banned.
have you on my stream again when I'm on Twitch?
Oh wait,
Ooh.
I won't get banned. They'll give me a warning first time.
Wait, I might get banned though. They might just punish me.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're saying there's a lot of power I have?
I don't know, dude.
It's all contextual, man.
Tell Devin and Dan the story of when you
Tell
were
Devin
carpet
and Dan the
cleaning a
story of when
lady's
you were
house
carpet
and her
cleaner in
dog
lady's house and dog
got
ran over
ran
you.
over in front of you.
I've already been here
LUL.
since the beginning. All you fucking stupid morons in chat trying to get all these stories. I've been here since none of you guys were born. All right, I
Dan,
was here watching,
Dan,
trying to recruit him from
if
Justin
you're good
TV.
at chat, they'll be good to you, man.
I
like
can't
you,
believe
chat.
this
you guys
shit.
are great. Okay, I forgive you for all of the things you say about me and my spiritual memes. I still like you. Okay.
Aw.
Yeah, it's
Well,
true.
we need to have a good difference of personalities to have a successful podcast, Evan. If you have two of the same people, it's fucking boring.
Oh,
all
I
right?
think we're different enough, my dude.
Oh yeah, I'm normal and have realistic fucking beliefs, and you don't think microwaves are real. I agree. That's gonna make for an outstanding podcast. We're
Mhm.
good. You're supposed to say something here. Never have a lull in the conversation. Rule number
I was
one
reading
in
this.
streaming.
I was reading this meme. I don't understand this.
What?
If you have a bag of Cybermen seeds and you plant one, it grows, and then Goku fires a Kamehameha at it, and the bag of 100 Cybermen. This doesn't even make English. Fuck off.
Isn't
this
it
is no English.
Sabermen? The little. Are
Yeah,
they, is it
the little
Cybermen?
green guy.
Yeah, the little
Oh, wait.
green dudes.
Yeah,
Destiny, I sent you a link. You
this
should
is
get
the
one of these
dumbest
scales,
shit
by the
ever.
way.
This is not even English.
Look on Discord.
It's
Did you see
beautiful.
it?
Good job, Dan. I'm proud of you, buddy.
No, you should get one of those scales, and you can share it with publicly how you're doing. We can hold you to your weight
Oh
loss.
shit! All right, I'll get one. Okay.
Kamehameha or Kamehameha?
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha? Kamehameha, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. All right.
All right, I'll let you guys go. Have fun. It was good talking with you. DJ
Yeah,
in
it is
chat.
always awesome talking to you, my dude.
And
I love
also
you, man.
YouTube chat, I guess. I haven't paid attention to you. They could be
There you
all
go.
fucking anti-Semites over there. Oof. I haven't looked at those comments. All right, bye.
Bye.